We are still continuing to talk about Luke here today. This morning, the passages we've already talked about this morning were Psalm, and we'll talk about 2 Timothy at the end of the day, and then Jeremiah is still lingering around there. Those are the 4 lectionary verses for this week. If you remember, which most of you do, the lectionary is a set of scriptures that the worldwide church has decided that they're going to preach on every week. So if you follow the lectionary, you can go to any church anywhere in the world and you'll hear these same exact passages preached about today if that pastor is also preaching from the lectionary. So I like to do that, make us keep connected. Also, the hard part is I don't get to choose what I preach about. So the last couple of weeks we've had some difficult stuff. I did talk about Black Lives Matter, and then we talked about September 11th, and then we talked about how God is great and big and awesome, and when these bad things happen to us in life, God basically is like, hey, chill out, I'm God, you're a person, relax, I'm in charge here. And then we talked about salvation last week, and now we're actually going to talk about something happy. We're going to talk about being thankful, living a life of gratitude, and how if you do that, you actually are fulfilling God's purpose for you, and you actually are much happier when you have a heart of gratitude and thankfulness. So that's where we're going, and we're using the verse that they gave us this week, Luke 17:11 through 19. Cool. While he was on the way to Jerusalem, he was passing between Samaria and Galilee. We're talking about Jesus here. He's getting ready to go to Jerusalem. Then he's going to be crucified, so that's coming. But at this point, he's just going down to Jerusalem. He's passing between Samaria and Galilee. As he entered a village, 10 leprous men who stood at a distance met him. Leprous means like they had this horrible disease where their skin is like melting and they're, falling off. You've probably, if anyone's seen Braveheart, I guess Braveheart's older than some of you now, but one of the guys there had leprosy anyway. As he entered a village, 10 leprous men who stood at a distance met him, and they raised their voices saying, Jesus, Master, have mercy on us. When he saw them, he said to them, Go and show yourselves to the priests. And as they were going, they were cleansed. Now one of them, when he saw that he had been healed, turned back, glorifying God with a loud voice, and he fell on his face at Jesus' feet, giving thanks to him. And this man was a Samaritan. Then Jesus answered and said, Were there not 10 cleansed? But the 9, where are they? Was no one found who returned to give glory to God except for this foreigner? And Jesus said to the man, Stand up and go. Your faith has made you well. Excellent. So, this week I want to talk about being thankful. And as you see in this story, there were 10 people who were healed of leprosy. Presumably an awesome thing to experience if you've been sick your whole life to finally be healed. But only one of them actually came back and gave thanks to Jesus. And Jesus actually said, well, that one is the one who has the faith that made him well. Of course, it doesn't say he turned all the other guys back sick, so I guess faith wasn't really the reason he was healed, but that's a different sermon. I want to talk about Thanksgiving today and how we live with a sense of gratefulness and gratitude, how it can impact your life. The first way that I would say that being thankful will impact your life is it gives you a sense of peace, a sense of comfort, a sense of calmness in what is otherwise a fairly tumultuous world. Well, you're probably saying, Pastor, how did you get to that conclusion? Basically, I always do this. I play with this stupid thing. Being thankful is, if you recall the past couple of weeks, I've been building up to this. All right, we had God being so big and awesome and us just being tiny little people, and God's like, shut up, I feed the bears, I create the snow, I make the sun rise every day, you're just a man, relax, I got this. And then last week we talked about salvation and how God is calling us to him, and our salvation is not based on anything we did. It's not based on any works you did. It's not based on anything you did. It's based on God. So now we have this awesome, big, great God who has done pretty much everything needed and required to save us. Now it's time for us to be thankful for that. And that's kind of the progression of how we're going. So if you missed the last couple weeks, now you're caught up to speed. When you realize that God has done all that, and that God is this great, big, awesome God, and we're just these people that are here for a very limited time, you get a sense of gratitude, of thankfulness that you've been given this time. And I'm not talking about like thankful because I'm pretty, or thankful because I'm wealthy, or thankful because, I'm not talking about me, I'm just people in general. Thankful because I'm smart, et cetera, all the things we can be thankful for. Thankful because I was born in the U.S., or I get to go to a fancy college, or all these things we can be thankful for. I'm talking about like being thankful that you are alive, being thankful that you are awake today, that you've been given more time to experience each other and yourself and thoughts and ideas and God. It's awesome, you know? So I live with a very strong sense of gratitude, essentially all the time. Because life is a blessing. And some people don't really celebrate life in religious circles because they're always thinking about afterlife. If I do this, and this, and this, and this, then when I die, I'm going to heaven. Sweet. That's a lot of religions. They're having some paradise where they get virgins, or, you get to hang out with Jesus forever, or you get to sit in Abraham's bosom, like we talked about a couple weeks ago. But I think God has more of a purpose for us than just making it through life so when we die we get to go to heaven. I think the best way to celebrate and be thankful for your life is to rock it, is to kick your lives behind, to make the most of your life is the best way, I think, that you can show God how thankful you are that you have it. All right, so that is how that is what I've gone to do. And that's what I've tried to do. I try to make the most of every minute, every day, because you never know when it's going to be your last. And I'm not trying to scare you about death. In fact, I think death is something else we should be thankful for. Because if it wasn't for death, then life wouldn't have the same sense of meaning, of urgency, of temporality. It actually gives life flavor. It makes life feel like this isn't going to happen again. I need to do this now. I get to experience these things now, whether it's being a student or raising a family or whatever it is you're going through in your life. The fact that it's going to end someday actually makes it so much more enjoyable while we're having it. And so I hope that someday, whenever you are facing death, you're not scared, that you have made the most of the time that you had, and you celebrated and you thanked God for life by how you lived it. So that's what I would say to you about one awesome thing about being thankful. The other thing is, second thing, is that it actually, if you're living a sense of gratefulness or thankfulness in your life, you actually also get a broader sense of community. What do I mean by that? Well, we're not born like thankful. Oftentimes these ideas of being thankful and grateful for your life come from your experience with other people. I've traveled quite a bit, and as I've seen the way other people live their lives, I've been thankful for how I've been blessed in my life. People, some parts of the world, they're living in like houses made out of stuff they pulled out of the dump. You have like 6 people sleeping on a floor with in a little square box that's about, the size of this pew, a couple of these pews. Not that poverty is the only reason, or not being in poverty is the only reason to be thankful, but we are blessed with resources in this country that other people are not blessed with. So that's one thing to be thankful for. But the more you travel, the more you spend time with other people, with other ideas, with other life experience, with other circumstances, you become thankful for a lot of things. You can become thankful for what you have. You can become thankful for the opportunity to learn those new ideas, the opportunity to see the world in a different way, and maybe somehow that has made your life even more richer. Just as I was speaking about earlier, I personally love talking to people with different ideas, different perspectives, different ways of thinking, because I believe God made that person too. So if God gave them those ideas and they have those thoughts, well, I want to experience and make my life richer by understanding those ideas and thoughts as well. Okay? So I think that when you live with that kind of mentality, you actually grow not only in your own appreciation for life, but also in expanding your community and growing alongside your community. All right? My wife is much better at showing thankfulness to people than I am. Like, if I get a gift, it could be like the coolest gift ever. I don't know. What's a cool gift for me? Plane tickets somewhere, but it could be something awesome, and I would be genuinely excited and thankful, but I would just be like, oh, thanks. And that would be the extent of it. My wife, you can give her something that she never wanted in her life. Like, I don't know. I hate to say something because then I'll reveal past gifts that maybe she didn't want. But, and she'll be like, oh my gosh, I love it. It's the best. I don't know why she bobs her head. She's going to kill me. But she's like, I love this thing. And she makes the giver feel so good that whatever she got, she was so thankful for. That's awesome. That's a skill. That's a gift that she has. I try to be grateful, and I think express my gratitude to people, because there have been so many people in my life that have allowed me to get to where I am today. And you probably can think of those same people in your life. If you do show them your thankfulness, if you do show them your gratitude, guess what? They're excited to do more things for you, or they're excited to do more things for others because it felt so good when they did it for you. Now, that would be my challenge to all of us. Think about those people in your life that have done awesome things for you and try to provide them with some kind of thankfulness. For example, if someone gives you a gift, thank them, obviously, or write them a little card, or do something like that. If someone has helped you in school or whatever you've been doing, be thankful for that and express that to them. So we're not just showing God thankfulness, we're also showing each other thankfulness and other people who've helped you along the way. When I was younger, I went to Scotland as my first mission trip back in, good God, I don't know, 2000 or something like that, when you guys were in first grade or something, maybe. I went to Scotland, and the point is that my church, my home church down in Georgia, McEachern United Methodist Church, actually gave me the money to go do that. Well, then I got really keen, and I was like, oh, people give me money to travel if I do missions? So the next summer, where did I go after that? The next summer I was studying abroad, and it wasn't even a mission trip. I went to Europe, and I studied with all these students from all over the United States. But guess what? Those same loving people from that church, it would cost like $10,000 to do this, would give me support and gave me money to go better my education. And all these people that I don't talk to hardly ever anymore. This was back before Facebook and back before that kind of stuff. Those people really helped shape the whole path of my life. And then after that experience, there's other people that helped me go to China, or helped me in seminary, or helped me, go to the Middle East. All these different things I got to do that helped me really expand my horizons, expand my focus, expand and become the person I am today. That's all because of other people. And if we have that sense of gratitude that we are not doing this ourselves, then your sense of accomplishment, or your sense of purpose, or your sense of whatever it may be, is actually built up in a whole sense of community of all those people that have come before you. So think about those people. Think about all that God has done for you as we get ready for worship. We'll take some time to sing a few songs, be in prayer. Think about the times in your life where God has blessed you, the times where you feel like God hasn't blessed you, but you are still alive to experience that. Think about those moments. Think about the people in your life that you are thankful for. And as we worship today, let God fill your heart and your thoughts with memories and feelings for those people. So let's pray.